Greetings, and today I have another deck for you guys. So this is the first time I've done a syndicate deck in a very long time, actually. I actually can't remember the last time I did a syndicate deck, but here we are, and we are using Sigismund Dijkstra, which is a leader. Regrettably, I haven't used yet, but its ability seems to be pretty powerful. I know that when it first came out, the ability was even more powerful. I did get to play a little bit of that, so that was a lie. I did get to play with Dijkstra a bit before. But yeah, before its ability got changed in, I think, update 3.2. So this deck is pretty interesting in the terms that Syndicate has a very centralized mechanic, which is obviously coins and all of the support cards that go with it. You got the fees, the tributes, the hordes. In a way, I think depending on how you play your deck, I think all those keywords can work together. So this deck, I found a similar deck like this online, and I made a few changes to sort of implement sort of my style of game into it. So I'm gonna kind of go through the deck list again with this deck and kind of show you what it's gonna be all about. As you can already tell, this deck there's a couple things that are sort of big in terms of like what the core pieces are going to be, what the support cards are, what they are, and all that stuff. So starting up the list, of course, we have Portal, which must mean that I'm going to have one of the two cards that work best with Portal, which is either going to be the Seductresses or the Cut Up Lackeys. Those two always seem to work the best with Portal when you're running it in the Syndicate faction. In this case, I am actually choosing to run the Seductresses because I think I already made a deck that ran the Cut Up Lackeys. So this time I'm going to switch things up a bit and just rely on mainly the Seductresses. And I think the Seductresses are going to be some beneficial just because of their ability to use shield. But the thing is, I don't know if that works with Portal. I can't remember that. Anyway, so going down the line, we have Novigrady and Justice, of course, helping you get those bronzes out. Something interesting that I put in, I actually put in both the Casino Bouncers and the Sewer Raiders. These are the two cards that let you bring out copies of each other. One is going to be from Fee or Insanity, your choice, and one is going to be from the Horde. So if you choose to do Insanity with the Casino, or you can't really choose. Insanity is, you have... Essentially, Insanity only works when you have no coins, but like... You want to get these out as early as possible because A, it's good for that early tempo, and B, it's good for that deck thin, which is always nice, and again, one of my favorite mechanics when it comes to playing this game. So yeah, Novigrady and Justice is good. Now, regrettably, I don't have any dwarves, so that might be the one downfall to this, is I am not running any dwarves. But that's okay, just because I feel like, you know, simply getting out any unit, any bronze unit is good for deck thin anyway. And anything that works well with coins is just gonna make it even better. So for example, if I would put the Chorus Blacksmith, I could do that. Witch Hunter Executioner, I could do that as well. So it's not so bad. Going down the line, we have Triss Telekinesis, which is great for getting out an extra copy of one of these, what do you call it? Crime cards. See, it's been that long since I played, I can't remember. So if you want to get that extra damage to damage the enemy by 3, I decided to add a Payday in here just because I feel like I do have quite a bit of cards that do damage. So Payday could be a good sort of finisher, plus that extra 5 coins is always beautiful, so why not? And of course, if your opponent has any bronze cards that they have on their deck that could be useful to you, you could also steal that as well. So Triss can be a double-edged sword in that way. We have Philippa Eilhart, of course, just because of the amount of coin income that's coming into this deck. She would be a pretty strong finisher. She's good disruption. You can steal one of the core engines from your opponent's field, and you can even use it against them as well, which could prove to be problematic. So the power, of course, maximum you can take is 9, of course, since that's the amount of coins you can have. But I feel like, you know, not a lot of cards are that powerful anyway, so I think she's going to be useful no matter what. Morelios is good for, you know, it's gonna be a good sort of like destroy whatever you want as long as you have the coin for it, pretty much. He's literally the bounty hunter / executioner of this deck. So essentially, of course, you guys already know what Morelios does, and he's good for the sort of that finisher. If there's a really big unit that you need to get rid of, like say for example, you got the Chiron on the other side, or a Blue Stripes not Blue Stripes Commander. What am I thinking of? Trident Infantry. There we go. So yeah, it's good for getting rid of those like kind of the core cards on other decks. The Flying Redanian, of course, is there. Again, like I said, because of this deck being able to hoard so much coins in such short time, then you got the Flying Redanian to sort of compensate for that, because you don't just want to keep building up and get nothing out of it, right? So it's good to have that. Adriano the Mink is sort of the support card of the Seductresses. This thing's counterpart, when I say counterpart, I mean the support to the Cut Up Lackeys will be, I think, Horson Senior. So you got the Horson Senior and the Cut Up Lackeys on one side, you got Adriano the Mink and Seductress on the other. Now, Adriano the Mink doesn't provide as much support as Horson Senior, because Horson Senior can produce 2 Cut Up Lackeys, I think, for less price. But I think the downside to that is that Horson Senior is more expensive by 2 provisions. So see, so you only need to tribute 3 and you can produce 2 Cut Up Lackeys. For Adriano, you need to tribute 5 twice to spawn more than 1 Seductress. So, and I think tributes can only work once. Yeah, it's on deploy, so its ability is weaker, yes, but it makes up for it by being cheaper by a couple of provisions. So it's a decent trade-off. Ewell Bersodi is here. His partner, Horus Bersodi, I'm not going to be featured here just because I think Ewell Bersodi's ability to remove, to damage cards is, I think, going to be a bit more useful than Ewald's. Sorry, than Horst's. I'm thinking of maybe switching Furco the Sculptor for Horst. I'm trying to think about that still, just because of getting that extra 2 coin, for that extra coin boost. But just because of the fact that we're getting a lot of coin income already, I don't think it's going to be that necessary. And besides, Furco the Sculptor is going to be good decked in for that, for any of these crime cards anyway. So I might just keep it like this. But again, your Bersodi's ability to sort of benefit just because of its ability to remove units progressively, which is great, of course, depending you have the coin for it. So Eavesdrop is a good card as a sort of filter. So if you have a card that you don't want in your hand, obviously you'll want to return it with Eavesdrop. Obviously the Flying Redanian is going to be a big one that you don't want to have in your hand. You obviously don't want to have either Seductresses in your hand either, just because you want to maximize Portal's potential. You obviously don't want to have both Sewer Raiders nor both Casino Bouncers. So I think Eavesdrop's going to be pretty useful with this situation. So you're obviously not going to be like, oh, I don't know what to take back, because I feel like every card is good. There are going to be some cards here that will end up being dead cards if you let them just get drawn out. So sometimes it's good to let cards play from your deck. Casino Bouncers and Sewer Raiders I already went through. There are deck fins from the deck. Originally, the deck that I saw had a Royal Decree and no Casino Bouncers, nor no Sewer Raiders. So it's like I sort of had to make a change there, because I feel like Royal Decree is a bit too redundant of a card, especially since I already have Novigradian Justice. I understand that I can't get out a gold card with Novigradian Justice, but I feel like with all the cards I have that can remove bronze cards, I figured I can afford to remove Royal Decree and add in the Casino Bouncers, which I can take out duplicates of, and same with the Sewer Raiders. So I thought, why not? Going down the line, we got Dip into Pontar. Being able to damage that unit. Being able to damage a unit by 3, again, very desirable nowadays. So I'll be expecting Dip in the Pontar to see some play, actually, when I do the gameplay video of it. Payday, again, is good because I do have cards already that allow me to damage cards, so I feel like having a Payday hit here will be good. Coerced Blacksmith is good for that progressive boosting. Now, of course, I can't go all crazy with this thing's ability just because I do need to save up coin. I do have Horde units that do need to come out as well. But the good thing about the Horde units is they don't spend coin. You just need to have that coin with you before they get played, and you don't even lose that coin for playing them, which is great. So I did like the Horde keyword when it came out. Not as much support, obviously, as Tribute and Fee, because obviously you want those coins to be used. Otherwise, you're just going to be saving up for no reason at all. Witch Hunter Executioner is a card that I've seen a lot of game from most syndicate decks lately. Just because of its ability to do that progressive damaging, especially if you have bounty set on your opponents as well. So there's that. Sewer Raiders already went through. Slander is sort of the support bounty keyword for the witch hunter. So if I want to damage a unit like almost immediately, I'll have to place a bounty on it before the witch hunter can sort of do its thing. Otherwise, it's just gonna do bleeding. So it's not like the witch hunter executioner is weak without bounty. It's just stronger with bounty. I hope you guys understood what I meant by that. And of course, the slide seductress will be the portal target. So, a couple key things here is that what I'm thinking of when I like picture myself in a game scenario here, I probably wouldn't want casino bouncers and the sewer raiders to be at my hand at the same time. What I mean by that is, like, it's good to have them both in your hand so that you can get out the copies early, but I feel like you being able to use Novigradian Justice to maybe get out a sewer raider or a casino bouncer I think is better, just simply because it kind of maximizes Novigradian Justice's power in a way. Plus it gets that deck thing out. Plus I feel like you would kind of want more of these in your hand anyway. Of course it's okay to have all your gold cards in your hand as well, but but you know, obviously not a lot of these cards have, you know, coin income, so that's not desirable. You want to have your bronze, especially your crime cards. You want to be able to maximize the uses out of your crime cards, especially just because they're gonna be the best source for your coin income. So obviously definitely have like quite a few crime cards in your hand, but not so much that Furko the Sculptor becomes dead, because I've come through a couple of situations, and this is especially prominent with Prince Willem, where I run out of gold cards in my deck because I was deck thinning so much, and he literally becomes a dead card. Literally the last video on the Nilfgaardian deck kind of shows that. Definitely maximize your damage output, just because of there's not that many there. Obviously Morils, you do not want to use it for that 4 output. You want to use it to be able to outright destroy an enemy unit. And obviously make sure that your coin income is good to the point where you don't have 9 coins and you have no cards that can use those coins, whether it's through Horde, tribute, or fee. You definitely want to be able to distribute the usage of those coins in a way where you'll maximize sort of the overall potential of your deck. That's way easier said than done, I'll tell you that much. But probably you might want to start thinking about, like, obviously it also depends on game situation, where you'll want to kind of figure out if your opponent plans on investing in the early game or in the late game. And usually you can tell by the kinds of cards they play. If they play like the bronze cards and such, like sort of the low end ones, it's a setup. It doesn't necessarily, or it could mean that they're throwing it away to filter out for a better deck, but I think you can just tell when you actually play. So I think this deck actually is pretty strong. It provides quite a bit of there is quite a bit of tempo with the casino bouncers and those sewer raiders. You got quite a bit of damage output, plus you got some boosting mechanic in here, which is actually pretty good as well. So you have, this deck is fairly balanced in terms of, you know, using syndicates as keywords that are sort of distinguished to it. So this video will get posted tomorrow. Expect the gameplay to come out on Thursday, and leave a like if you enjoyed this deck, leave a comment on any changes that you guys would like to make, and subscribe for more Gwent videos. Other than that, this is Enzo signing out. I'll catch you guys in the next one.